Well, I've been to quite a few cultures. I was born in China, I was raised in Hong Kong, I came here to study at university, I've been to Europe, I've been to India, Japan, Africa. And every time you go to a new country, you always have a sense of shock, cultural shock,
Right.
even revulsion at anything that you don't do, that they do, that offend your sensitivity. However, when you go into a culture, you've got to analyze it. For example, the Chinese dog killing thing. If you want to look at, go to myspace.com/Anthony Marr, scroll right down to the bottom. I've got this slideshow about the Chinese dog slaughter. And when you look at that, you see two different kinds of Chinese people. The women who was crying and sobbing when the dogs are being beaten to death, and those people who cold-heartedly beat the dogs to death. So it is either the government policy that offends you or the people's culture that offends you, or both. But if you see that the people love the dogs but the government kill them, then you know what to do. You will support the people and fight the government. So first of all, you've got to analyze before you condemn a culture as a whole, and just attack that element that's really offensive to you, because there are other elements that may be totally with you. So.
Anthony, can I? My name's Mimi. I'm very much on board with this. I don't know if any of you have seen the PETA video of the cat and dog fur trade in China, and of course, there's animal torture on every level around the world, but for some reason, that particular video is the one that caused me not to sleep for like weeks. So I would like to hear you say more about China, because my despair is that we can't really do things in other countries, but we can do things in our own country because we can't speak the language in other countries, we can't access the culture. Is it true, do most of the Chinese people find that horrifying, that the cat and dog fur trade, or is it just accepted?
Well, I was born in China, so I was born as an integral part of the culture. That culture, I have to confess, is not particularly compassionate to animals in general. Until, let's say, if you finally became a guardian of a dog, and the dog, shows so much love and courage and dedication to you, you cannot help but to be moved by the dog, and the dog trains you, and the dog gives you compassion for the animals. I have seen all kinds of horrible things as a child. I've looked at live meat markets, because there was no refrigeration at that point. I was born in 1944, and so all the meats that people consume are live meat. They go to the market every day and buy a chicken, live chicken, and then take it home and kill it, personally kill it. My family did that a lot. I've seen chickens killed many times. I can never do it myself. They said, "Hey, you're the oldest male child of a family. You better take over from here." I said, "No way, I'm not going to do that." So I passed it on to my sister. They had to do it, and even within my family, there was a range of compassion. I had a dog and a cat, and I really loved that cat, but my sister hated the cat, and every time she saw the cat, she kicks it. So my sister fought like cats and dogs. So it's pretty hard to sort of generalize as to what it is, but it is pretty horrible. South Korea, China, they're still killing cats and dogs, and not in a very humane way either. They believe in beating the animals until it's completely full of adrenaline, and that's supposed to pre-tenderize the meat. So it's just totally awful. I have learned a lot from the Western culture as to how to evaluate the Chinese culture. So going back to this, to the topic of this presentation, campaigning abroad. If you were a Chinese, I would go abroad to campaign against China, and that's what I'm doing. I was born in China, but it just so happens that my fate takes me here, and I use this opportunity to campaign against China from North America, and I find that that's more effective than if I were in China and can't say a thing. Okay, so.
That's a wrap on our session on time, but feel free again to talk to us individually, follow up by email if you need to. Thank you again for being here, and if there's something we weren't able to address because we don't really know necessarily where everybody is coming from, what you're looking for, let us know on the surveys or individually as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I've
Thank
got
you.
5 copies that are okay, so if you want one, it's okay. Thank you so much.
I didn't get a chance to say, but when I lived in Japan, it was the only time in my life I ever lived in a minority.
Really?
In most minorities that live here are living with all white people. When I lived there, only 1% of Japanese society is from somewhere else. So that totally gave me an insight into
Well,
what
I
it
was
might be
gonna
like
say
for
too,
somebody in this society.
My plight is so much vivisection, and more than anything, I think